You don't just hesitate to try something new. You see yourself failing before you even begin. Fear paints vivid pictures of defeat, but those images are not reality. They're projections of doubt. Every time you let fear dictate your actions, you reinforce its power. But what if you challenge those narratives? What if you questioned the stories fear tells? You'd start to see them for what they are: illusions. Fear thrives in the unknown. It feeds on uncertainty. But clarity comes from action, not from overthinking, not from waiting, but from doing. A step you take diminishes fear's grip. Each decision made in spite of fear weakens its hold. You don't need to eliminate fear. You need to act alongside it. To acknowledge its presence, but not let it control you. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that something else is more important. Your goals, your dreams, your purpose, they all matter more than the discomfort of fear. When fear whispers, "You can't," respond with action. When it says, "You're not ready," take the first step. Prove it raw, with words, but with deeds. Because in the end, fear is just noise, and you have the power to silence it. Fear says, "Stay small." You move anyway. Fear says, "Don't try." You show up anyway. That's how it dies, piece by piece. Through movement, through defiance, through discipline. Because discipline is the sword that cuts through fear's lies. When you train your mind to act, no matter how you feel, you take fear's weapon away. Fear only thrives when you're idle. It grows in hesitation. But action burns it down. So stop feeding it. Stop entertaining it. Stop letting it sit at your table. You're not afraid because something's wrong with you. You're afraid because something matters to you. Fear's not a stop sign. It's a spotlight. It shows you where the work is, where the leap is, where your future is hiding. And that is where you go, not away from it, toward it. Every time. You don't avoid fear anymore. You chase it, like a warrior on purpose. Because now, you know something most people never learn. Fear isn't the gatekeeper. You are. Fear doesn't lock the door. You do, with hesitation, with doubt, with delay. And every time you face it, even shaking, you unlock it. Every time you speak up, take the risk, move forward, you open that door wide. And one day, it doesn't even look like fear anymore. It just looks like growth, challenge, opportunity. Fuel? That's the transformation. You don't destroy fear by fighting it. You dissolve it by rising above it. By building a mind it cannot live in. By building habits that make action your default setting. You breathe in discomfort, and you move. You feel resistance, and you lean in. Because now you understand. You weren't born to be safe. You were born to expand. To test your limits. To push your own edge so far that fear can't keep up. This is the moment you stop living scared. Not because fear is gone, but because you are finally awake, present, ready. The most dangerous thing fear ever did was convince you to wait. Wait until you're confident. Wait until you're certain. Wait until you're ready. But here's the truth. Ready is a lie. There is no ready. There is only now. And there's what you choose to do with it. Because while you're waiting for the fear to pass, your life is passing. Your opportunities are passing. And the version of you that could have been, they're getting further away. That version, the bolder one, the braver one, they're built with action, with hope. Not with plans. Not with daydreams. With action, step by step, brick by brick, forward, always forward. Even when it hurts, even when it's messy, even when nobody claps. Because you're not doing this for applause. You're doing it to become someone you respect. That's the goal. A version of you who doesn't run from fear, but through it. A version of you who sees fear and says, "Good. This means I'm alive. This means I care. This means I'm stepping up." not backing down, but playing it safe. Because safety doesn't build legacies. Comfort doesn't change lives. What you really want lives on the other side of fear. It always has. And it always will. You're not going to think your way past fear. You're going to move your way past it. Not after you figure it out. Now. In the messy, chaotic, heart-racing now. Because the more you wait, the louder fear gets. But the more you move, the faster fear dies. It only survives if you feed it, with excuses, with avoidance, with delay. Starve it. Starve it with courage. Starve it with discipline. Starve it with relentless action. Fear doesn't need to be conquered. It needs to be outlived. And that starts today. With you standing up, stepping in, and saying, "You don't get to run my life anymore." You don't need a rescue. You need a routine. You don't need more inspiration. You need execution. That's the difference between wishing and winning. Between being stuck and being dangerous. So build the life that fear can't survive in. Wake up early. Before the doubts creep in. Move your body, train your will. Sit in silence, listen to what's really inside you. Write down your vision every single day, so fear can't rewrite it for you. Cut the noise. Cut the drama. Cut the stories that say, "You're not built for this." Because you are. You always were. Fear didn't build you, but you've let it shape you. Let today be the last day that happens. From this moment forward, fear gets no vote. Fear gets no veto. It can scream, whisper, cry, or beg, but it doesn't steer. You do, and you steer by choice. By movement. By bold, deliberate action. The kind that makes your chest tight. The kind that makes your palms sweat. That's the right path every time, because the more you step toward what scares you, the more you step into who you are. And that's not a theory. That's not a nice idea. That's a law, a pattern as old as time. Courage isn't born, it's built. By those willing to hurt for it, willing to lose for it, willing to fail forward 1,000 times to get it right once. The people you look up to, they weren't fearless, they were relentless. And that's your edge. You don't need easy. You need truth. You need to look in the mirror and say, "I've been waiting long enough." And then move like you mean it, like your life depends on it. Because it does. Not just the life you're living, but the one you could be. That version of you, they're already watching, already waiting. Every second you stall, they fade. Every second you rise, they get closer. So rise. Fear can't live in a soul that's fully awake. It hides in comfort. It survives in hesitation. But the moment you decide, it panics. Because fear knows your potential. It knows what happens if you ever stop listening. It knows what you'd become if you ever stopped obeying. So it distracts you with worry, with opinions, with all the what ifs. But here's one it can't answer. What if you didn't let it win? What if you spoke up? What if you tried? What if you showed up with your full voice, your full strength? Fear can't answer that, because fear only knows how to shrink you. But you were built to expand. You're not here to just survive the day. You're here to shape it. To own it. To walk into it like someone who remembers who they are. Fear wants you to forget. Forget your power. Forget your purpose. Forget your fire. But that fire's still the doubt, under the noise. Under the years you've spent playing small, it's still burning. And today, you feed it. With action, with truth, with movement. You don't wait to feel brave. You move until bravery finds you. Because it will, every single time. You're not some lost soul looking for answers. You're the answer. You just forgot. Fear helped you forget. But now you remember. And when you remember, everything shifts. Not overnight, but moment by moment, one bold move at a time. You don't need to see the whole path, just the next step. Take it, even if it's shaky, and if your voice trembles. Take it. And then another, and then another. That's how you build a life that fear can't survive in, not by talking about it, but by living it. Tomorrow morning, you wake up and decide. Before your feet hit the floor, you say it. Fear doesn't lead today. I do. You don't wait for motivation. You move. First thing, you train your body, not for abs, for discipline, for mental armor. You sit with your thoughts. No phone. No noise. Just presence, and in that silence, you write it down. Who you are, where you're going, what fear won't stop you from doing today. Then, you go do it. Before the doubt creeps in, before fear finds a crack, you close that door with action. Not big, perfect, impressive action. Real action. Make the call. Send the message. Write the page. Step into the discomfort. Because the longer you wait, the heavier fear gets. It grows in stillness, but it dies in momentum. Every time you choose movement over fear, you teach your brain a new truth. I act, even when I'm scared. Do that every day, and you become unrecognizable. You stop flinching, you stop folding, you stop stalling. People start asking what changed, and you won't have to explain it. They'll see it. In your eyes. In your posture. In your decisions. In your energy. You become the one that moves different, talks different, leads different. Because fear isn't holding the pen anymore. You are, and the story you write from here, it's yours, not fear's. Not doubt. Single quotes. Yours. So pick up the pen, write something real. You do this long enough, it changes everything, not just your results, your identity. Who you are. You stop chasing permission. You stop needing validation. You stop explaining yourself to people who never risk anything, and you start building something bigger than yourself. A life that speaks louder than any excuse. A legacy that doesn't whisper, it roars. Because legacy isn't built with words. It's built with choices, with habits, with relentless pursuit. Not when it's easy, but when it's hard. Especially then, when fear says, back off. You say, watch me. When it says, too risky, you say, too important. When it says, you're not ready, you say, then I'll learn on the way. That mindset, it echoes through your work, your family, your community, your future. You're not just killing fear for yourself. You're killing it for everyone watching. Everyone who's ever been told to stay small. Everyone who's been waiting to see someone go first. That someone is you. You become a living example that fear doesn't have to win. That hesitation isn't your home. That boldness isn't reckless, it's required. Because the world doesn't change through silence. It changes through action, through courage, through people who get up one more time than they fall. You live that way, and your life becomes proof. Proof that fear can be unlearned. Proof that greatness is built, not born. Proof that every excuse can die when faced with purpose. You become a lighthouse, not loud, not flashy, just stay and shaken. And the people still stuck in fear, they see you, and they remember what's possible. You don't just inspire, you ignite. You don't just lead, you liberate. All because one day you decided, fear ends with me.